Hopefully, beginning of the year going well. Okay. Anybody else want to
Come on, come.
All right. Any questions? Any questions? History or archaeology questions?
Come on, come right here, sir.
Question.
Like this, sir.
Sure.
One thing that's been hot in the news lately, how a Korean man who owns a store had kidnapped a little boy, held him at gunpoint.
History or archaeology?
So
Current events.
it's current events.
You want to go back in the past. Right. You want to go back in the past and see. Go ahead.
We're talking about the Devil's Punch Bowl.
What's that?
The Devil's Punch Bowl, I think it was in Missouri, to where they had 3 encampments for black people after the Civil War, that the Confederate was holding people there, and the people don't want to eat the peaches because that was fertilizing the land.
Yeah, let's see. Capital is from Mississippi, in that area in Mississippi where they had those race riots, what have you, where white men slaughtered from, and planted a peach orchard or what have you, and it's there to this day. What's it called again?
The Devil's Punch Bowl.
The Devil's Punch Bowl. You understand? Natchez, Mississippi, I believe is where it is.
Come on.
That's a real history fact right there. You understand about how the white man slaughtered us. You understand? Okay, so what is Juneteenth Day? Anybody online knows what Juneteenth Day is?
The sister said there's a problem with the sound.
Okay.
I cannot alleviate that.
What does it sound like? Is it muffled? Is it too low? Is it muffled? It's wild? Okay.
It's too wild.
That's what's up. All right, that was quick work. Hit the like button, Dr. Show. The day we got free from slavery. The day that we got free from slavery, that's what, according to the white man, you understand, he'd like you to think. But unfortunately, you know that we've been, it's 100 years later, you understand, it's 150 years later, and we still are in slavery, unfortunately. Okay, this has something to do with just the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, that Abraham Lincoln gave. He gave out the Emancipation Proclamation, a presidential proclamation, an executive order issued, you understand, on January 1st, 1868, okay, or 1863. He changed the federal legal status of more than 3.5 million enslaved African Americans in the designated areas of the South from slave to free, okay? That was a problem, though. That was a problem. He said that we were free, but that doesn't mean that they was going to let us go. You understand? They was a little bit wiser than the Egyptians. You understand? The white man, the so-called white man. He's the most subtle beast of the field. Mm-hmm. He had thoughts of us sitting around, hanging around for a few more days, you understand, at his behest. He would try to get some more work out of us, okay? I'm gonna get that book that General Hyman he let us, hit us to, you understand, about how the white woman, you understand, had plenty of slaves. I'm going to see if I can recall the name of that book. Okay, get the name of that book for us right quick, because that's probably going to be a very good read. That's going to be a very good read. All right, but I'm going to go into. It says I'm going to go into Juneteenth and the Emancipation Proclamation, just from a little historical. So this sister named Stephanie E. Jones Roger wrote a book, They Were Her Property, White Women as Slave Owners in the American South. You understand? You sisters should pick that up. You understand? Understand how the white feminist movement, you understand, has harmed you. You understand? Has beguiled you. You understand? Listening to this woman, listening to the white man, you understand? You were enslaved under them as well, but you seem to have forgotten that. Okay? So that's a good book we're going to try to get a hold of. Does anybody know when the Civil War ended? Let's get a date. April 9th, 1865. Well, you see there's a problem there. On January the 1st, 1863, President Lincoln, the so-called President Lincoln, emancipated us on January 1st, 1863, right? But the Civil War didn't end until April the 9th, 1865. The war began when the Confederates bombarded the Union soldiers at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. We're going to be in South Carolina. You understand? We coming to South Carolina. We coming to the Southeast Regional I.S.U.P.K cookout. You understand? In Charleston, South Carolina. What's the dates on that? July the 4th, the July the 4th weekend. You understand? I think the 4th is on like a Thursday, but we're going to be there from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You understand? And we're going to get it in. We're going to get it in Charleston, South Carolina. Fort Sumter, you understand? South Carolina on April the 12th to 1861 is when the war began. You understand? So how could we be free from slavery when we were still in the hands of our captors, you understand, in the South and in the North? You understand? And what does that mean coming into the Emancipation Proclamation? I mean, not the Emancipation Proclamation, but Juneteenth. How does that relate to Juneteenth? They got a lot of lies out here. Slaves had already been emancipated, they just didn't know it. So you mean to tell me that black people is silly enough that they heard what the President of the United States said, even though they was in slavery? You understand? I just believe that they couldn't do anything about it. How about that? They couldn't do anything about it. You understand? They knew that they were still enslaved. Or you were supposed to just get up and walk off the plantation, you understand? And the first bullets haven't been fired. You understand? Somebody was going to have to free you. You understand? Ain't no revolution without blood. You understand? They like to say. You understand? It's got to be some bloodshed. You understand? But a greater bloodshed is coming. That's what you fail to realize. A greater bloodshed that's going to end the whole matter. You understand? Ain't no such thing as, you understand, we want reparations. You understand? Christ is going to end the matter. Okay? There's more than one Independence Day in the U.S. On June 19th, 1865, General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and announced that slaves were now free. You understand? I have notes on it. You understand, where the people in Texas, you understand, they already knew, you understand, that they had been emancipated, but they was in Texas. What the hell you think the white people in Texas want to do to you, you understand, if you walked off the goddamn plantation? You heard that what he said, but you wasn't dumb enough to know that you was going to leave that joker. You understand? Until somebody removed your master out of the way, supposedly. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Question or comment?
Both. The scripture, in one of the scriptures, it say we shall serve or fight the serpent for a time and then time and a half. That's like 350. So since they say we've been emancipated, the scriptures is saying otherwise.
Where is that at? Revelations?
I think Revelations 12 and 14 are also in Daniel.
Let's get a hold of that. Houston, Texas, Yapana Achar. Okay, shalom to you, sisters. We talking about Galveston, Texas, how on June 19th, 1865, this general rode up into Texas and proclaimed that the so-called Negro who was in slavery in Texas was free, even though the proclamation was given in 1861, before the first bullets of the Civil War were shot. You understand? Were fired. Okay. How big is Juneteenth down in Texas? That is my question to you, Yapana Akar. All right. Yahweh Sawada for the participation. Okay. Hopefully the sound is back up to par. You know what I'm saying? Just type in one, let me know the sound is good to go. All right. So we got that. We got that cat coming in. 1863. 1863. Hold on. So 1860. It was in 1863 that the Emancipation Proclamation happened. So that was 2 years into the Civil War. That's what it was. You understand? He knew he had to turn the tide some way. And so releasing the slaves was deemed something that would hurt the morale of the South. Okay? And it's saying that many of the slaves were not aware until June 19th, 1865. You understand? Let's get that. General Gordon Granger, okay? Just like the real truth about Memorial Day that General Muhammad brought out the other day. You understand? That was, monumental that we did what was right. You understand? By burying those people that the Lord, you understand, had not forsaken. You understand? But the white man, being the devil that he is, murdered the people. You understand? Just because he knew that his time is running short. You understand? He's going to start doing it more and more as we go and get near the time. Okay? So it was 250,000 slaves in Texas at the time that supposedly, you understand, they brought out the Juneteenth announcement that they had been freed on January 1st, 1863. It wasn't enforced in Texas. You understand? The major forces of General Lee, Robert E. Lee, that bastard Donald Trump thinks that he like Robert E. Lee is one of his favorite people. You understand? When he's the worst devil ever. You understand? The devil personified. You understand? The Trail of Tears. That's what you think about when you think about Robert E. Lee. You understand? How he forced marched thousands and thousands of Gadites. You understand? 125,000 Gadites. You understand? That's what you have to understand. We were forced to leave our land. You understand? That's how you got Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street and out there where the Trail of Tears ended in Oklahoma, where they established those relocation camps and goddamn reservations out there in Oklahoma, you understand, brought Native American Indians and Black people together, you understand, on those lands. Okay? What we got? No, we don't want to do that. That was Andrew Jackson. Okay, Andrew Jackson, and then you had General Robert E. Lee, you understand? So it's saying the announcement that they had given, even on June 19th, 1865, they said that the announcement actually urged the freed slaves to stay with their former owners. You understand? Which was the beginning of sharecropping. You understand? The beginning of sharecropping. My goodness. Go ahead.
And because most of them was saying, if we leave the plantation, what we going to do now, even though they was free? And someone was saying, just like we did in Egypt in the past, we might as well stay here, because if we go out there, they're going to kill us anyway.
So Israel, right? So I'm going to find out where the 40 acres and a mule doctrine came from. Comment. Question or comment?
No, I'm thinking along with you, sir. Slide.
Okay, I got another strange and interesting fact to share with you. Okay, 40 acres and a mule, a phrase echoed throughout the South in the aftermath of the Civil War, asserting the right of newly freed African Americans to redistribute lands, particularly those plantations confiscated by U.S. troops during the war. So when the North won, right? When the North won, they took over the slave plantations or what have you. And so they were supposed to give us the slave plantations, you understand, as compensation for unpaid labor during the slavery. But it's still slave plantations, you understand. You can go right out of a lot of cities. In Maryland, this was slave country. You understand? You can go and those big houses are still there. You understand? With the owners, the children, the descendants of them, they have been taking care of those places. Those places were supposed to be given to us. You understand? It says many historians trace the phrase to General William T. Sherman's Special Field Order Number 15, issued on 16 January 1865, which set aside a 30-mile tract of land along the South Carolina and Georgia coast for former slaves and promised the Army's help securing loaned mules. In addition, the Freedmen's Bureau initially was authorized to divide abandoned and confiscated lands in the 40-acre tracts for rental and eventual sale to refugees and former slaves. Despite the efforts of radical Republicans during the Reconstruction period, however, significant land redistribution measures ultimately were abandoned. You understand? And virtually all Southern lands were returned to white slave owners. The resulting sharecropping system left the social and economic structures of slavery essentially intact in the South. You understand? Intact in the South. So what was they supposed to do? As if you didn't get treated as a second-class citizen if you went up north. You understand? You still was a nigga. You know what I'm saying? What difference does it make? They didn't give you no land down in the South, but what did you get up in the north except for some more slavery? You understand? To kick off the Industrial Revolution or what have you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get nothing out of the deal.
Okay. Especially on the nickel, they have a plantation sitting right on the back of the American nickel. It's on Montebello.
Okay. Where's Montebello located at? See if you up on things. I'm going to read you General Order Number 3 read by General Granger. You understand? The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Well, what goddamn property did you own as a slave? Not a goddamn thing. And the connection, I keep forgetting about all these free black people that there was, you understand, during slavery, okay? Once again, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. So we were deemed as a hired laborer. You understand? Oh, that was such a step up from, chattel slavery. You understand? It's just ridiculous to think that the dynamic of the relationship changed. It did not change. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. You understand? So why you can't sit on your porch? You understand? Why you can't, walk down the street? You understand? And be safe in your streets? You understand? You being patrolled per this or general order number 3. You can't be idle. You understand? You can't be idle. You're free, but you can't be idle. You understand? If you don't have a slavery in America, you as good as dead. You understand? Because the sidewalks, they don't feel too good. They don't feel good at all. You understand? Them 3 hops in a cop, you understand, it's better to be in jail, which is in slavery. Let's get what is that? The fake 14th Amendment.
Come on.
Let's get that and read that, how you go back to jail for idleness. You understand?
Salaki, that will be consistent to a no loitering law.
No loitering, no solicitation, no loitering. You can't do nothing. You understand? Without the white man's permission and without him busting you upside the head. You understand? It's ridiculous. Let's see. Section 2. No, that ain't it. Hold on. Listen to this one. The validity of the public debt of the United States, $22 trillion, right? That's what we owe right now. It's like 70,000 per person, man, woman, and child in the United States, over 300 million people. You understand? Everybody owe about $70,000, right?
Come on.
It says the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions, okay, Social Security, I guess, and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, okay, the police, right, shall not be questioned. It shall not be questioned, you understand, why the police is beating your head in every goddamn week, okay? But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of or emancipation of any slaves. Let's read that again. That's it. When did the 14th Amendment come out? July 9th, 1868. So a few years after the Emancipation Proclamation in 1861, and then in the Civil War, Emancipation, let's see, Emancipation Proclamation was what time again? I have to go back over.
1863.
It was in 1863. You understand? Civil War started in 61. The end of the war was in 65. The 14th Amendment came out in 68. Okay? But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States. You understand? So they ain't paying any debt or obligation if you are deemed to be against the United States, or any claim right? A claim, meaning I have a suit against you. I'm going to file a lawsuit against you. That's a claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave, meaning that white owners were going to now say, you owe us for emancipating the slaves. But all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. Let's find out about that. Let's quickly find out about that. Where is it at? Why did that happen? Slavery and emancipation in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., using federal records to explore the lives of African American ancestors by Demany Davis, right? It says on October 6, 1862, right, in the nation's capital, two families appeared before the federally appointed Board of Commissioners that administered all business relating to the April the 16th Emancipation Act that abolished slavery in the District of Columbia. So a year before the 1863 Emancipation Proclamation in 1862 on April 16th, you understand, the District of Columbia abolished slavery, right? It says, Alice Addison, the head of a formerly enslaved African-American family, was accompanied by her two adult daughters. That should be in the book. What's the name of the book again? They were her property. You understand? They were her property. I wonder if that's in the book. They were her property. White women as slave owners in the American South, right? It says, once again, Allison Addison, the head of a formerly enslaved African-American family, was accompanied by her two adult daughters, Rachel and Mary Ann, along with Mary Ann's three children, George, Alice, and James. The other family, their former white owners, was headed by Teresa Suffolk, a widow. Her three sons, Richard, John, and James, and her two daughters, Mary and Ann Young, accompanied her. A mutual desire to officially register the Addison family's new status as free persons prompted their joint appearance. The Softles hoped to gain the financial compensation promised by Congress to all former slaveholders in the district who had remained loyal to the Union. The Addisons simply desired the comfort and security of having an official record certifying their freedom. So they wanted to be free, but you understand the former slave owners wanted to be compensated for losing their slaves. The Softles had missed the July 15, 1862 compensation deadline mandated under the terms the April 16 Act had given them. The Softles explained to the commissioners that they failed to petition by the deadline because the Addisons were no longer residing on their property. At the time the act went into effect, the Addisons had fled the city 3 days earlier on April 13th, fearing the President Abraham Lincoln and the federal government planned to forcibly deport them, along with all other ex-slaves, to Africa. Ain't that some crap? You understand? The report noted that the Addisons had fled to their father's residence, the father of the two adult daughters who lived in Montgomery County, Maryland, and was a slave owned by Harry Cook. The Addisons remained there until September the 28th, 1862, when they returned to Washington, D.C. The glimpse into their lives. Okay, so go ahead and check. Everybody okay? Hope everybody didn't bust their head. All right? Everybody good? All right, we good. did, y'all. Yeah, everybody gonna try to get off to celebrate Juneteenth. You understand? Let's see. So that 14th Amendment clause section there didn't mean a damn thing. You understand? Because they had already compensated. They had already compensated white slave owners for losing their slaves. They had already done it in many instances. Let me see how much they paid them.
It's like a
Question or comment?
comment.
Go ahead.
They almost had the same thing occurring, even though it was a small tidbit in that movie, The Django, as far as freeing the slaves, and they didn't want the slaves to leave, so they shot them on point.
I don't remember that part, but listen, the white man got crimes. The petitions included the names of the slaveholders, the names of the slaves, physical descriptions of each slave, and the monetary value for each claimed slave. The slave holders often gave very detailed descriptions of their slaves, apparently hoping to reap a greater compensation for highly prized slaves. Elizabeth W. Ringgold estimated that her slave, Perry Goodwin, was a gift from her deceased sister. Once again, here these white women, again, got plenty of slaves, was worth $1,500 and described him as portly, fine-looking dark mulatto, about 5'9", who was healthy, of good address, a very intelligent young man, and a poster of our trade, a good rough carpenter, and very handy at any kind of work, with no infirmities or defects, either morally, mentally, or bodily. So, what was your problem, white woman? You understand? What was your moral problem? You understand? In the petition submitted by slaveholder Clark Mills, Philip Reed, distinguished as the slave who crafted the Statue of Freedom for the United States Capitol. You know, on the Capitol is a statue they call Freedom up there, or what have you, of a woman, I believe. Statue of Freedom on the United States Capitol was built by a Negro. Once again, is also valued at $1,500. So how much did they give us? How much was we worth? $1,500 was all we was worth. $1,500 in 1862 is how much now? Let's see. You know, it's getting way more than that. Get the calculation. $1,500. They got a whole calculator, inflation calculator. $37,293. You understand? That's all he was worth. You understand? That's about how much you get paid on slavery. You understand? You ain't getting much on the slavery. You understand? You make $37,000 on the slavery. A lot of families don't even make that, you know what I'm saying, combined in many instances. My goodness. Question or comment?
Comment. The most that many people make for a family now is at least $25,000 yearly.
We'll have to look it up, but for sure, it's not much that people are making. Let's see what the poverty, family poverty statistics say. How much are you in poverty? Family of three, $21,000. You understand? That ain't much. Let's see. Okay. Let's go and get some more. So these slave owners was paid, they was paid good money, you understand, for their slaves. And what did we get? Nothing. The Freedmen's Bureau couldn't get us anything. You understand? So let's find another thing that we would find out about why Texas didn't find out until 1865 that they was free. Because the white man wasn't letting them go. You understand? And then when they supposedly told them that they was free, they told them not to move. Saying that we left north. It says, according to historian James Smallwood, many enslavers deliberately suppressed the information until after the harvest, and some beyond that in July 1867. You understand? Meaning that, listen, we got to get these crops out the field or what have you. Don't tell these Negroes nothing. They still in slavery as far as I'm concerned, because I got to get my money from these fields. It said, in July 1867, there were two separate reports of slaves being freed, and one report of a Texas horse thief named Alex Simpson, whose slaves were only freed after his hanging in 1868. So, of course, the white man went right back to his M.O., you understand, being a thief and a robber, you understand, and got hung for stealing somebody's goddamn property, their horse, their car, you understand? When legally freed slaves tried, many of them were beaten, lynched, and murdered. They would catch freed slaves swimming across the Sabine River and shoot them. A former slave named Susan Merritt recalled. You understand? So you was taking your life in your hands if you walked off that plantation. When freed slaves tried to celebrate the first anniversary of the announcement a year later, they were faced with a problem. Segregation laws were expanding rapidly, and there were no public places or parks they were permitted to use. So in the 1870s, former slaves pooled together $800 and purchased 10 acres of land, which they deemed Emancipation Park. It was the only public park and swimming pool in the Houston area that was open to African Americans until the 1950s. You see that? $800 to purchase some land to make a park so they could celebrate their freedom. And then we didn't even respect that. You understand? The Juneteenth celebration was almost forgotten about, you know what I'm saying, in many aspects. Okay? It says here, a little tidbit, the civil rights movement of the 1960s, when the Poor People's March planned by Martin Luther King Jr. was purported, that's a goddamn lie. He didn't plan that damn march. You understand? That was with the Pullman Porters and the other group that decided that they was coming for jobs. All they wanted to do was be paid at the proper wages for the same job that they did as white people did. It was the same thing. You had white people working right along with you. You understand? They're not getting equal pay. You understand? Women, same thing today, or what have you. If you want to, but it's just ingrained like racism is ingrained in everything. The sexism of the white man, you understand? He say everybody's free and equal or what have you, but he's far from it, okay? So the Poor People's March planned by Martin Luther King was purposely scheduled to coincide with that date, you understand? They had basically gave it up after 50 years of lynching. You understand? Them bodies stacking up, them bodies swinging, them strange fruit swinging in the wind. You understand? They had forgot all about it, Emancipation Day, living under the terror of the so-called white man. And the white man is stepping up his game. I don't know if you've been seeing the reports. The white man see your he's stepping up his game. He see your gay flag. He peeing on your gay flag. You understand? What else is he doing in that game? He see your gay rainbow bumper sticker or what have you. He putting his bumper sticker over top of that. You understand? Don't sleep on the so-called white man. You understand? He definitely Negroes, Native American Indians, Latinos is on his hit list. You understand? He just got to do something with the gays since they took over your civil rights. You understand? You march so that, Johnny could be, mommy and Teddy could be daddy. You understand? That's all you got out the deal. That's what your civil rights, begging the white man, you understand? That's what it got you. Not much.
And you're right about that, sir. A couple of them, I think it was in D.C. after they had the march. A couple of them was found in different places, murdered, and they was deemed undescribable.
The march, you got to bring the proof. The march brought Juneteenth back to the forefront, and when march participants took the celebrations back to their home states, the holiday was supposedly reborn. They should have made that a federal holiday instead of that coon Martin Luther King. You understand? That's what they should have did. Some brother named Al Edwards introduced legislation to have June 19th officially declared a state holiday in Texas. Juneteenth is still not a federal holiday, except for in D.C., they try to fake the funk and act like, again, I think they give the district government workers off. You understand? D.C. district government with your no right to have an ass. You understand? No rights. You understand? You ain't represented. You taxed without representation. You understand? You've been swashbuckled, bamboozled, and led astray. Okay? As the tradition of Juneteenth spread across the United States, different localities put different strands on the celebrations. Red soda water or strawberry soda and barbecues. Some states serve up Marcus Garvey South. Lord have mercy. Yeah, we bumped our head. Right? Question.
What I was just saying.
Go ahead.
Proof from CNN. It says.
What's the date on that?
This is Sunday, June 9th.
Sunday, June 9th. What is CNN saying?
As communities celebrate Pride Month, Detroit police charged teen with murder of gay men, transgender woman.
Are you saying that that's the serial killer? Is it a white boy?
Unfortunately, lies, sir.
Boy, just like I don't believe that the Virginia Beach shooting, you understand, wasn't some garbage as well. They making up stuff. That's all I can tell you. They making up a lot of stuff.
Someone come, sir.
Drop that. Drop it.
No doubt, sir.
All right. So those is some things about the Juneteenth. You understand? When Israel is in the house, You understand? We tell them that we have a far greater and a real emancipation coming. You understand? With prizes. You understand? Handing out leashes. You understand? Handing out many garden tools. You understand? And everything. You understand? You're gonna have to be a very devil to get sunscreen in that day. You understand? I'm gonna let the sun do its job like it did on us. You understand? See if it can heal you. You're gonna get healed. You like the sunbathe. I'm gonna let you catch it all. You understand? Put that cotton on my porch. You understand? There not be no holes in them bags. See? No rocks. No rocks with holes in that bag. Okay? So, 100 years ago, 2019 is 1919. Let me take you back. A white gang hunting African Americans during the Chicago race ride of 1919. The red summer refers to the late winter, spring, summer, and early autumn of 1919, which were marked by hundreds of deaths and high casualties across the United States as a result of racial riots that occurred in more than 36 cities. That's 36 cities. That's a lot of cities. The white man is, he's capable of bringing it back to this. And one rule counted. In most instances, whites attacked African Americans. In some cases, many black people fought back, notably in Chicago and Washington, D.C. The highest number of fatalities occurred in the rural area around Elaine, Arkansas, where estimated 100 to 240 black people and 5 white people were killed. Chicago and Washington, D.C. had 38 and 15 deaths respectively, and many more injured, with extensive property damage in Chicago. You understand? The Elaine 12, I don't know where I saw that. The Elaine 12 black sharecroppers were sentenced to death, you understand, saying that it was a slave insurrection, or it was an insurrection where the sheriff basically deputized all these militias, white militia groups that are prevalent and growing in number in America, especially in Detroit and such, or what have you. It says the Elaine race ride was one of the worst rides in American history, and hundreds of black sharecroppers lost their lives during the ride. 12 black sharecroppers were sentenced to death for allegedly being involved in a white man in October 1919. The men were convicted and sentenced to death by an all-white jury. It took approximately 20 minutes for them to reach a verdict. Golly. So it tells you how the NAACP, this white organization called the NAACP, you understand, took it to, I believe it went all the way to the Supreme Court, you understand, where let's see, they were granted new trials, you understand, and then they were pardoned in 1925. 6 years later, they get pardoned, but they was in jail, you understand, facing the death squad or what have you, because they just rounded up people that was protecting themselves during all these race riots during the summer of 1919 or what have you. They was just sweeping them up, charging them with everything, saying that because of those 5 white people died or what have you, that now you understand that they was going to put to death these 12 sharecropping brothers or what have you. that was basically already still in slavery. Let's see what sparked off the Red Summer. The racial riots against blacks resulted from a variety of post-war social tensions related to the demobilization of veterans of World War I. So once again, you understand? Memorial Day, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, both black and white, and competition for jobs and housing among ethnic white people and black people. In addition, there was a time of labor unrest in which some industrialists used black people as strike breakers, increasing resentment, meaning that they would have white people employed in these jobs. These white people say our rich brothers is cheating us. Yeah, so they form a union and they be like, nah, damn that, you're killing us on the job, you're not paying us right, or what have you. We're gonna sit out and you ain't gonna get no work done, meaning you ain't gonna be rich no more, because we ain't gonna let you use us like that. So the rich brothers, they would go and get black people to work in their factories instead. It's called union busting or what have you. You understand? You go and get some scad to come in and do the job because I'm out here protesting how you treat me on the job for some health and safety violation or some, bad pay schedule that you got or something like that. So, this was right before the Great Depression or what have you. You understand? So, the white people went the hell off. Following the violence-filled summer in the autumn of 1919, Hayes reported on the events as a prelude to an investigation by the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary. He identified 38 separate racial riots against blacks in widely scattered cities in which whites attacked black people. Unlike earlier racial riots against blacks in the United States' history, the 1919 events were among the first in which black people in number resisted white attacks and fought back. You understand? Well, goddamn, you understand? You just supposed to let somebody kill you. You understand? Because they mad. White people got a lot of nerve.
Exactly.
Mm-mm-mm. In addition, Hayes reported that between January 1st and September 14, 1919, white mobs lynched at least 43 African Americans, with 16 hanged and others shot, while another 8 men were burned at the stake. You understand? That's when you get them postcards and stuff like that, with the children standing around and them pointing to the Negro hanging on the tree, you know what I'm saying, or somebody burnt alive in the fire. You understand? Go to Philly school and you'll see all the pictures of slave stuff. I wonder if we can get a hold of those files. I know I'm gonna ask about them files or what have you. Every school should have several of those portraits. You understand? On the wall. You understand? So not only the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riots, you understand, but the Red Summer. You understand? In Norfolk, Virginia, a white mob attacked a homecoming celebration for African American veterans of World War I. At least 6 people were shot, and local police called in the Marines and Navy personnel to restore order. You understand? Meaning that you just got finished. You understand? They just did the D-Day celebration, right? The D-Day celebration. Old Trumpy Trump went over to England and what have you, and went with the Queen and everybody to recognize D-Day, you understand? We was in the D-Day, you understand? Over there risking our lives, losing our lives in America for America or what have you to fight against Germany or what have you. Then you get home and you get shot. You get shot on the spot. You understand? You can't get a job. You can't do nothing. But you had bullets whizzing over your head. You understand? And you get no thanks. Joining this place. None whatsoever. Why are we still doing it? 100 years later, we're still trying to join and love America. My goodness. Any questions or comments online? Okay. I don't see it. Let's see. Read Exodus 5:1.
Kanamaka, sir.
Read Exodus 8:21. You might want to get a physical Bible. You understand? I always want to get and have it in class to have a physical Bible. 8:21. Let's get to the thick of things.
Kanamaka, sir. Exodus 8:21. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee.
Good God. You understand? That's what's going to happen to America. He's going to be cursed. She's going to be cursed with plagues. You understand? Can't wait till that revision of the curses prayer comes out. You understand? I can't wait for the curses revision. You understand? Be looking for that. You understand? The revision to the curses, the prayer for the curses against our enemies. Go ahead. Keep reading.
And upon thy servants, and upon thy people.
You understand? So they're going to catch hell. Swarms of flies, you understand, shall be released. The plagues is going to be upon thy servants and upon thy people. Read on.
And into thy houses.
In your houses. Keep going.
And the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarm of flies, and also the ground whereon they are.
You understand? The ground and the air just full of swarms of flies. Oh my God. Lord, put hell on them goddamn Egyptians. So must the Edomites and the nations now be plagued so that they let us go. You understand?
Come on, God.
I'm definitely praying for the plagues to come back.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. Give me something, give me something. Give me 1 second. Rhonda Smith, Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Tabar Shema Shah. Any questions or comments? What we got here?
I got something.
Good.
Revelation 18 and 8.
Give me Isaiah 14:1 and 2 first.
Isaiah 14:1 and 2. Come on, Kai.
Now, you was right.
Okay.
That's the thing. You was dead on it.
Oh, the water, sir. Yeah, that was Revelation 18 and 8. You want that?
Yes.
Come on, console. Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in 1 hour, Salakia, in 1 day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For
Keep going.
For strong is the Lord, is the Most High who judgeth her.
Lord is not playing with this place. Exodus 9:14 said, "For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart." You understand? Upon thy mind, he's going to send these plagues, and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. You understand? Don't let the Lord raise up the battle. You understand? You're going to be smitten of the Lord. For sure. Okay? Give me Jeremiah 49 and 17.
Come, step. Jeremiah 49 and 17. And Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goes shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
You understand? Edom is going to be a desolation, and this land and his heritage is going to be full of desolation. You understand? And nothingness. My goodness. And we got to come out the battle. We got to come out the battle. This is how it's going down when we come out the battle. When the spirit come in you understand, like in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, you understand? You understand, when you get them dry bones start quaking and come together and gets sinews and flesh upon it, and then he breathed the breath of life in us, or what have you. Give me 1 Samuel 4 and 7. There's a good story about our enemies, the Philistines, and how when the Lord comes to secure us, you understand, to secure the bag, that all hell breaks loose and the other nations are afraid and in fear of their life. Let's check that. Not well read many times. Let's just dip into a few things.
Come on, God. 1 Samuel 4 and 7. And the Philistines were afraid, for they said, Yahweh is come into the camp.
Well, the power is coming to the camp. That's not Yahweh. You got to know the Hebrew.
Oh, slide.
You got to be cognizant that when you read it, that you think Is Yahweh there or is it not there? And it's probably not there in that particular case. Go ahead.
And they said, woe unto us,
Destruction unto us. Read on.
for there had not been such a thing thereof.
You understand? They was afraid. The Most High power, you understand, is coming to the king. You understand? When this truth get into us, they're going to be afraid when they see us stand up on our feet. Read on.
Woe unto us.
Destruction unto us is what the Philistines is saying. You understand? They shaking in their boots. Read on.
Who shall deliver us out of the hand of the mighty powers?
Read it as it's written. From the top.
Woe unto us. Who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods?
You understand? Who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? Talking about the children of Israel. You understand? Because the spirit of the Most High was back in the camp. You understand? They had at this time taken the Ark of the Covenant out. You understand? We had gotten the Ark of the Covenant back, or what have you. So they knew that the Lord was with us. You understand? And they were sorry. You understand? At the hand of these mighty gods. You understand? Read on.
These are the gods that smote the Egyptians.
You understand? The Philistines is brothers to the goddamn Egyptians. These are the gods that smote the Egyptians. Read on.
With all the plagues in the wilderness.
You understand? With all the plagues in the wilderness. Okay. You understand? They understood what was going on and what had happened at that time. Meanwhile, what's happening to us? Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 59. See what the problem is with us.
Deuteronomy 28 and 59. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of the sea, even great plagues.
You understand? Why? Because we didn't follow the law, statutes, commandments. Right? We got great plagues placed upon us. You understand? We are looking real bad. Keep going.
And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance.
You understand? We would just change our ways, stop eating shrimp, crab, and lobster. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be plagued with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. You understand? These sore sicknesses, you understand? Great plagues, you understand? Because of our disobedience, what have you. Those are the plagues that we need to get rid of. Not to mention, that's just the ones dealing with the dietary laws. You understand? The HIV and AIDS, plagued by all of that garbage, because we don't want to follow the law, statutes, commandments about how we're supposed to deal with one another, male and female. You understand? All of that, all of the breaking and adultery that we do, and you know what I'm saying, the breaking of wedlock. My goodness, we receiving plagues. Read Leviticus 26 and 21.
Come on. Leviticus 26 and 21. And if you walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me.
You understand? The Lord is saying, if you walk contrary to me and don't do what I asked you to do, go ahead.
I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you, according to your sins.
7 times. 7 times the plagues. What we seeing in these last days, that's what's going on with us. Right? Hosea 13 and 14.
Hosea 13:14. I will ransom them from the power of the grave.
The Lord, you understand, He gonna send our Redeemer, you understand, Yahushua. This is an Old Testament scripture prophesying, you understand, through Hosea. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. You understand? Just like how He raised Yahushua from the dead. Keep going.
I will redeem them from death.
The Lord is going to redeem us from this death, from these plagues that have suffered sin upon us, you understand, have destroyed us and have us in derision at this point in time. Keep going.
O death, I will be thy plague.
You understand? He's going to deal with death for us. He's going to plague death. God damn. He's going to tell death, you understand, what to do. You understand? That's power. You understand? Keep going.
O grave, I will be thy destruction.
Damn. You understand? Yahweh, he ain't joking when he said, let me get the precepts on that. Let me see if I can.
Go on. Heavy. Heavy.
1 Corinthians 15 and 26 says, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. You understand? Yahweh, you understand? The sea. It says in 24, then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death, for he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is expected, which did put all things under him. Okay? It is manifest that he is expected, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued under him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all. You understand? The Godhead. It's talking about the Godhead. Verse 29, else what shall they do which are baptized for the dead, if the dead rise not at all? That's a reincarnation scripture. You understand? Else what should they do which are baptized for the dead, if the dead rise not at all? Why are they then baptized for the dead? That's baptism, being born again. You understand? Letting your old man die. All that. Paul went on to say in verse 31, I protest by your rejoicing which I have in Christ Yahushua, our Lord, I die daily. You understand? Meaning that he cut off the old man daily. He made sure he stayed dead. You understand? Okay. So that's the plagues. That's a ton of plagues that's coming, you understand, to visit us. And a ton of plagues for the nations to suffer. You understand? Let's give a round of applause for the Most High. You understand? Next week, you understand? The 50th day, you understand, of the Feast of First Fruits. You understand? We're going to close out, you understand, that high holy day. You understand? On your Leviticus 23rd chapter, you understand? We're going to be reading it. We're going to be in full effect. You understand? Get ready for the Southeast Regional Cookout, 4th of July weekend, okay? So-called 4th of July weekend, okay? What else we got? Questions or comments? We're running into the last half of the hour. You understand? So we went over the Emancipation Proclamation, the DC Emancipation, the end of the Civil War, the beginning of the Civil War, being a 14th Amendment slave, you understand? The Red Summer, the doctrine of the 40 acres and a mule. We made mention of Statue of Freedom, how so-called Negro in slavery built, you understand, the Capitol and the White House, and did the sculpture relief, you understand? Did the sculpture relief that's sitting on the United States Capitol building, just like we built the pyramids, you understand? Just like we built the treasure cities of Pharaoh, okay? Come on. What else did we go over? We went over that book, you understand? That book about, what's the name of the book? I've got to get that book. They were her property. White women and slave owners in the American South. You understand? They was trying to get compensation for their slaves. All right. Keep going.
So I was in verse 18. I need to be in 19. So
Keep reading it again.
Revelation 22 and 19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life.
You understand? You add or you take away from this book right here, the Lord is going to put hell and fire on you for, destroying his records, you understand, of the children of Israel, his chosen people, and their way back into, you understand, their rightful rulership on the planet Earth. You understand? So what you want to do is you want to also get ready, you understand, right after this, you want to get ready. You want to go into your woodshed, get your drinks and everything ready. Go on and walk away for a half, get everything ready for the Commander General Yohanna's The Grill radio show. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. The Angry Black Man Show, you understand? The last of the Angry Black Man Show is coming on, live and direct, in your living room. Put the babies to bed, you know what I'm saying? I believe it might get heated tonight, okay? There's a lot going on in the world. It needs to be spoken of, you understand, and you got to hear it. My goodness. All right. Did you want to bring out anything tomorrow?
Why, sir? Not at this time.
All right. Let's get some more.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah, I had recently had a discussion with someone, and they was Old Testament, and they was talking about Yahushua, right? And so I told him he was prophesied in the Old Testament. So Yahushua even said it himself, which was a cut to them, which was Psalms 40:7 and Hebrews 10:7. It said, "For lo, I come in the volume of a book that is written of me."
Right. Simple enough. A milk precept. You understand? If you find it in both sections, Old and New Testament, then you would think that you would understand the whole volume included the Old and the New Testament. And of course, the Apocrypha, which the so-called white man conveniently has taken out in many of his denominations, but there ain't no divisions in Yahushua, right?
Come on.
So.
Also, I had hit him with like Deuteronomy 18:18, and was it John 1 and should be 63? John should be, should be John 1 and 63 also. So they was getting distraught, talk about how you gonna say that? It's about Moses. It's about Moses. I say, well, according to the scriptures, it was Moses who prophesied about Yahushua. So what's your problem?
They don't understand the scriptures.
Exactly.
What else is new?
Give
me Isaiah 63:9.
Come on, sir. Isaiah 63:9.
Hold on. Let's give up to 6.
Isaiah 3:6. And I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury. And I will bring down their strength to the earth.
You understand? We destroy it. You understand? What you see going on with black people is how, you understand, the Most High shows his anger, you understand, and his fury, and how weak we are. You understand? You see us down, beat down in the earth. Keep going.
Come on. I will mention the loving kindnesses of the Most High and the praises of the Lord, according to all that the Lord hath bestowed upon us, bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he had bestowed on them according to his mercies, and according to the multitude of his loving kindness.
You understand? The mercies and loving kindness of the Most High, you understand, is to Israel. Read on.
For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their savior.
You understand? He's going to raise up men that ain't going to lie on the Lord. You understand? He's going to love the Lord. You understand? The Lord is going to deliver us. He's going to save us. Read on.
In all their affliction, he was afflicted.
In all of their affliction, he was afflicted. Read on.
And the angel of his presence saved them. In his love and in his pity, redeemed them. And he bare them and carried them all the days of old.
Keep going.
But they rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit. They were turned. Therefore he was turned to be their enemy.
You understand? We vexed the Holy Spirit. We vexed the vibe of the Most High. You understand? How you going to taint what's good, what's pure, what's holy? You understand? How you going to taint the salt? You understand? You're going to put vinegar in the salt or some garbage like that. What is you doing? You understand? Keep going.
And he fought against them.
The Lord is waging a war against us because of our disobedience. Keep going.
Then he remembered the days of old, Moses and his people, saying, where is he that brought them out of the sea with the shepherd of his flock?
You understand? They understood that walking through that dry land while the sea was up on both sides, walking through the Red Sea, you understand? When the Lord split the sea and let them walk to safety, and he drowned the Egyptians or what have you. We understood, where is he that brought them up out of the sea? You understand? With the shepherd of his flock. Read on.
Where is he that put forth his Holy Spirit within him?
Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him? You understand? So they try to charge Christ. You understand? So say, me and my Father are one, but the Lord put his Holy Spirit in Israel. It's not, spooky. It's not spooky. You understand? It's not spooky. Keep going.
Verse 12. That led them by the right hand of Moses with his glorious arm, dividing the waters before them, to make himself an everlasting name.
You understand? He's known to this day for splitting the Red Sea and drowning the Egyptians, letting the children of Israel escape from that 400-year captivity from the filthy Egyptians. Read on.
That led them through the deep as an horse in the wilderness, that they should not stumble.
You understand? Could you imagine being in the bottom of what was formerly where water and fish and all manner of sea creatures and sea monsters was just swimming, you understand, in the murk, you down there in the deep, you understand? Keep going.
As a beast goeth down in the valley, the Spirit of the Lord caused them to rest. So didst thou lead thy people. Lead thy people to make thyself a glorious name.
The Lord led us and made a glorious name for himself. Read on.
Look down from heaven and behold from the habitation of thy holiness and of thy glory. Where is thy zeal and thy strength?
Look down from heaven, O Most High. Behold from the habitation of thy holiness, you understand, his throne, in his fiery throne with the elders and the beasts and everything. Where is thy zeal and thy strength? Read on.
The sounding of thy bowels and of thy mercies toward me, are they restrained?
You understand? You got any love for me, Most High. You understand? Deliver me and deliver my people. Isaiah is breaking it down. Keep going.
Doubtless thou art our Father.
Doubtless, you understand? Thou art our Father. Read on.
Though Abraham be ignorant of us.
Abraham didn't, in the day, think that his progeny, his descendants, as a father of many nations, would be so disrespectful and disobedient to the Most High. If you were of your father Abraham, you would do the works of Abraham. You understand? Abraham don't know us. You understand? Doubtless thou art our father, though Abraham be ignorant of us. You understand? Abraham would be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And Israel, according to
Acknowledged.
and Israel acknowledged us not.
You understand? And Israel, you understand? Who is Israel?
The 12 tribes.
No, that's not what it's talking
Oh,
about.
Jacob.
Jacob and Israel acknowledge us not. Jacob been like, God damn, you understand? My 12 sons that turned into this great big mess. Keep going.
O Lord, art our Father, our Redeemer. Thy name is from everlasting.
You understand? Thy name is from everlasting, the Most High. Read on.
O Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden our heart from thy fear?
That's heavy. We erred from our ways, and our heart has become hardened against the fear of the Most High, which is the beginning of knowledge. You understand? Right? We just, trying him at every turn. Read on.
Return for thy servant's sake, the tribes of thine inheritance.
Return, send Yahushua for thy servant's sake, the tribes of thine inheritance. This is your inheritance, Most High. You understand? Send Yahushua, you understand? For thy servant's sake. You understand? Come on. Give me some more.
The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while.
You understand? We need to get back in our position. The people of thy holiness, we possess what we were supposed to live up to for just a little small inkling of a fraction of time that we supposed to rule forever. You know what I'm saying? David and Solomon, they had about, 40, 80 years between the two of them, or what have you?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And because of our disobedience, we had to be left with the inhabitants in our land, because we didn't drive all the inhabitants out of our land. So we had to fight all up in the Sidon and Tyree area where Dan and Naphtali lived or what have you. We were supposed to have peace. You understand? We was many times where we did not have peace. He always had to bring somebody against us because we were sinning against the Most High. Sinning against the Most High, then we cry unto the Lord, and he sent us a Savior. You understand?
Okay.
Gideon, you understand? Joshua, many men that helped us during those times when we went the hell off.
Does that go back to when the scriptures say peace, peace, when there is no peace?
That's a New Testament thing. That's for the hypocrites of Israel. That's for the false prophets. You understand? It's calling peace, peace. You understand? When there is no peace. You understand? Because they ain't making it no peace. They ain't keeping no laws and statutes, commandments. They ain't teaching no law, statutes, commandments. They ain't doing nothing but saying peace. Yeah, but meanwhile, they stabbing you in the back.
Understood.
Go ahead.
Come on, Kyle. While our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary.
Understand our sanctuary, meaning even our physical sanctuary is gone, but you understand the sanctuary of the Most High dwells in Israel amongst his people, or what have you. You understand? If we was about his business, we would be the church. We would be, you understand, the family on the earth that only the Most High know, you understand, that he can deal with and distribute his wealth so that everybody eats on on planet Earth, right on down the line. You understand the way it's supposed to be set up? Okay, equitable. You understand? But it's trodden down. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 19. We are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them.
Ooh, Isaiah, cold cut. You understand? The Lord ain't your shepherd. You understand, Mr. White Man? The Lord never bears rule over them. He ain't never bear rule over them. You understand? As a father to a son or anything like that, or a groom to a bride. You understand? None of that. Read on.
They were not called by thy name.
You understand? The Lord ain't never called the other nations by thy name. You understand? So Isaiah just dropped some funky cold Medina on their ass right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a cut. You understand?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? That's a cold cut. We got 15 minutes. Questions or comments? Any more questions or comments? All right. You must have your chips and your everything ready, your sodas and not sodas, your drinks, everything ready for the Commander GEN.YAHANNA's the grill. I must be ready to rock and roll. Y'all ain't paying me no mind, but that's all right. We're gonna still get it in. We're gonna still get it in. See some goodies.
Slack is so trying to move these wires out the way. Select it for a second.
Go ahead. Excuse yourself. Let's see. Touch on plate. Give me Amos 9:4.
Is that? I don't want cards.
Amos 9:4. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set my eyes upon them. And I will set my eyes upon them for evil and not for good.
Keep going.
Verse 5. And Yahweh, power of hosts, is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt.
Keep going.
It is he that buildeth his stores in the heaven, and hath founded his truth in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. So Yahweh is his name.
Most High is his name. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set my eyes upon them for evil and for not good. You understand? We don't want none of that. And the Lord God of hosts is he that toucheth the land. Okay? It shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and he shall and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. You understand? Boy, we don't want to catch none of that. The Lord will do it to you. Keep going.
7 minutes. No
swear.
Amos 9 and 7. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Saith the Most High. Have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Kir?
You understand? So the Lord is saying, are you not as the children of the Ethiopians? Is the same thing as saying, you understand, can a leopard change their spots? You understand? No, we can't. What have you? So are you not as the children of Ethiopians is not saying that he's down with the Ethiopians. You understand? It's just saying that the children of Israel, you understand, can't be divided or separated from him in regards to who they are. They can't be hidden in the earth, you understand, as to who they are and what they are supposed to be doing. You understand? You do wrong, the Lord gonna punish you. He's gonna slay you with that sword, you understand, throughout the cities. You understand? Just like he would treat any other nation of people that he has to deal with. You understand? Just like you mentioned the Philistines and the Syrians right here, what he had to deal with them. He's referencing different things that had taken place, you understand, with the Philistines and the Syrians and the Ethiopians. He knows them as a nation of people, right? And he deals with them accordingly. You understand? Are you not as the children of the Ethiopians, right? I'll destroy you, you understand, if you get out of line too, even though you my chosen people. Keep going.
Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Most High are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
You understand? The Lord's eyes are upon the sinful kingdom. And he said he's going to destroy it off of the face of the earth. You understand? America has destruction and payback is coming to it really, real soon. This is the Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. You understand? The white man is running this kingdom. You understand? These kingdoms is going to be destroyed. Read on.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord.
You understand? The Most High is not going to destroy utterly the house of Jacob. You understand? That 1/3, do your damnedest to try to be in a part of that 1/3. Don't try to be, you understand, in the 2/3. You understand? Don't Don't do that. Don't do what you ought not to do. You understand? Get some help. Come to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge and be a part of that number. You understand? That the Lord is going to save and deliver out of this land. Come be a part of the 144,000. You understand? Somebody's got to rule in the kingdom of heaven. Question or comment?
Question. This all goes with that her sins had reached up into heaven.
Yes.
Come on, cuz.
Yes. The Lord see this place, the wickedness of this place. You understand? They can't hide their wickedness from the Lord in reference to what is going on in this place as well. So with that, I'm going to turn the class over to Priest and Officer Gavar Da for the announcements. All right. Just tilt the camera over into that area. All right. There you go.
These are the security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world after 6 months. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. That is 6 months to 1 year. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. Means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, which is the Feast of First Fruits, and it should be July 17th.
No, it's a week from today.
Slack.
It is June the 17th.
Slack. June 17th, the Feast of First Fruits. And also we had the Midwest Cookouts coming up. If you can come and you can donate, go to ISUPK.com to find out how. Remind Akim and Akwatim to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on, for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And that concludes the announcements. We are going to give a one-person salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Amanim Shabbat, Amanim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah,
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah.
Yadi Matah, dismissed.